In this orthokeratology case, we're working with a patient who's complaining of glare in dim lighting and also has some uncorrected cylinder in the post-treatment refraction. We can see the post-road topography looks really well centered. There's very good alignment in the horizontal meridian, and even the vertical doesn't look too bad, but it's a little bit loose, and we can probably tighten that to help address the undercorrected cylinder. Here's the lens that the patient is using for the left eye, and because of the moderate refractive error, we can see that our reverse curve is already pretty tall. We've got about 75 microns of clearance underneath the peak of the curve. And one way to help with glare is to move the OZ and IC out, but that's just going to shoot this up even more. I think we can get away with a little bit more expansion of the optic zone, but if we really want to help with glare, I would probably also recommend that we add some asphericity to the lens. That'll help us make the treatment zone a little bit more broad without getting excessive clearance underneath the reverse curve. So what I would do is, since this is also a fairly large cornea, I would push this out to our maximum diameter of 11.9. This will automatically draw the OZ and IC out, but then we have to adjust it because you can see that our power topo demand has dropped. And here we're pretty close to that 1.25 where we started. I think I might draw that back down one click. And now instead of a maximum of 75 microns, we're about a maximum of 87, which I think is still reasonable. When we get into the 90s and 100s, sometimes we get so much fluid underneath the reverse curve that we don't get a complete treatment pattern. Let's reset our center thickness, which changes when we alter diameter. Next thing I'm going to do is tighten the superior meridian and the inferior meridian to help with the unwanted cylinder. There's about 1.25 diopters. We would expect about half of that to go away, but I think only about 1/4 diopter is going away with the current treatment. So we don't need to make a big change here. I would increase sag here by about 12 microns, so that would give us a target of 959. And I just realized I did that in 100% mode, so we got to reverse that. Only want to change in the vertical meridian, so 50% mode. One more. Okay, since we're in GSA, Wave will automatically mirror the change to the inferior quadrant, and we don't have to do that ourselves. And finally, for the asphericity, the number that I tend to use is +20. And actually, let me take that out first because want to point out we need to make a note of our current topo demand 6.67 because that's going to be our target after we add in the asphericity. You'll see that we can actually decrease our topo demand a little bit. Can't go by the power when we add asphericity into the lens because it does averages the power of an aspheric surface and it's not as accurate. So back in 100% mode, we can reduce how much clearance we have here. And we're pretty close to the original right there. The other thing we have to do is check our power now. We're at a power of +120. But if we check the individual meridians, we can see there's some meridians where we're a little bit off. So in smaller increments, we just want to even these out. Okay, we're pretty even all the way around here. So our final lens is going to fit a little bit more snugly in the vertical meridian. The increased OZ diameter and the broadened treatment zone will hopefully help with the patient's complaint of halos at nighttime. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Best of luck with your patient.